Dear students, today we will discuss fifth lecture of first module, Organizational Behavior and Interdisciplinary Area of Study. Students, the issue of organizational behavior, it is not been contributed by one branch of study, rather multiple discipline like as management, economics, sociology, anthropology, psychology, socio-psychology. We need to understand exactly multidisciplinary nature of course, advanced organizational behavior, not only studying by one particular discipline, because psychology contributed a lot in organizational behavior. Like as in psychology we study attitude, mood, motions, lot of different things, stress, all these things really is a part of organizational behavior. Similarly, economics studies the incentives and some other contexts, profit sharing. These are all the things really contribute the organizational behavior. Now, we will see what is the contribution of different area of study in organizational behavior. See the agenda, organizational behavior as an interdisciplinary area of study, contribution of discipline and key concept. As I already mentioned, psychology, it has the great contribution. Sociology, of course, sociology has unique contribution to understand organizational behavior. Anthropology, economics, political science, social psychology, physiology and management. Now see all these things one by one, what way they contribute in organizational behavior. First one, organizational behavior as an interdisciplinary area of study. In what context? Students, interdisciplinary means what? That is the similar sum of branch of study, little bit contrast maybe. All they have contributed a lot to understand organizational behavior. Nowadays, understanding organizational behavior not only interdisciplinary, that may be the transdisciplinary. And it is my request to all of students, not be within interdisciplinary, not be within multidisciplinary. See what way contrast department, contrast discipline contributes the particular subject, particular course. There are so many things in this particular lecture. Psychology, sociology, like as demography is very important part in the part of sociology. What way demographical features contributes to understand organizational behavior. Social belief system, culture as a part of anthropology, leadership as a part of management, all these things need to understand very categorically to clarify subject matter of organizational behavior. Now, contributing discipline to organizational behavior, as I noted earlier, psychology, sociology, social psychology, management, philosophy, political science, economics, anthropology. See what exactly I want to clarify to all of you. Means any subject or any discipline, it may not be confined only one particular area. Different issues are there, different contexts are there, different concepts are there, which collectively define the particular discipline. If we talk about the management, if we talk about the economics, if we talk about psychology, every discipline it is also being affected by several other disciplines. So one by one we need to study very thoroughly. First one, psychology. What way psychology contribute organizational behavior? What psychology deals basically? Human behavior, cognition, emotion, motivation. Emotion, motivation, cognition, human behavior, not only studying in psychology, in fact, this particular concept being studied in some other discipline also. OB, organization behavior, basically if you want to understand the individual behavior, mental process, motivation theories are important. Cognition process is equally important. And all these things influence workplace behavior. All these things affect performance of particular organization. Now, key concept of psychology what we are using in organizational behavior, motivational theory, Maslow hierarchy of needs, Herzberg two-factor theory, personality, perception, emotional intelligence, and cognitive bias. These are all the things we have used basically in organizational behavior. Quoting one example, emotional intelligence, understanding his own emotion and also understanding emotion of others, which is termed as in psychology literature, there is the emotional intelligence. There may be the cognitive bias, there may be the personality, which define exactly what kind of behavior would be from particular person. Personality defines person's cognitive skills, defines person's ability, defines person's confidence. These are all the things definitely which when we talk about organizational behavior, that will be the part of organizational behavior. Now, if I see the second part, that is the sociology. In sociology, what we are studying basically, group behavior, social structure, culture and dynamics within teams and organization. It also examines how societal norms, roles, relationship influence organizational behavior and how organizations fit into broader social context. Social structure, socialization, group dynamics, organizational culture, social influence. So, quoting some example, what is the sense of social structure? Societal understanding is very important. Means in particular society, what kind of practices, what kind of principles are following by the different group of people. Ultimately, that affects on group, that affects on individual, that individuals within the particular setting, organizational setting, effect on behavior. Ultimately, that particular process leads the organizational success or failure. So, sociology has the great role to understand organizational behavior. Moving to the next slide, we can see anthropology. What anthropology studied basically? Anthropology contributes to OB by studying organizational culture, values and rituals. It focuses on how different culture norms, practice, shape behavior within an organization, especially in global and diverse workplaces. Means anthropology deals the one important part of organizations which is called as organizational culture, which is to be created by every organizations, fixing some kind of benchmark, fixing some kind of norms, values by their own, and which is to be transmitted year to year and the next generation. So, anthropology is also one of the great area which defines organizational behavior. Moving to the next slide, Economics is the great area which is much important to understand organizational behavior, because economic informs OB by offering perspective on incentives, resource allocation, decision making and organizational efficiency. It emphasizes the role of rewards, compensation and labor markets in shaping employee behavior. There are key concepts which we have borrowed from economics, that is motivation, decision making, reward system, compensation, economic model of labor and productivity. Students, motivation and decision making. Decision making, actually that is the model which is originated from economics. What way one particular organization making decisions without the techniques of models of economics, that is so-called econometric model, which is much dominant nowadays, making any kind of decisions in the field of management, in the field of business, any organization, any area, either it is marketing, HR, finance, accounting or any branch of study. Economics has great role. We have a lot of examples on this particular study. Like as reward system is one of the very important. Person's behavior supposed to change if we change the reward system, if we change the compensation. What will be the compensation package? Forms of compensation we are giving to the people. This is equally important. Cafeteria process, cafeteria system of compensation nowadays more popular. Offering employee stock option scheme, ESOP is also equally important, which defines the individual behavior. Friends, all these things, economics and its model framing decision making or motivating employees needs the contribution of economics. Next, we can see more contribution by other area of study, like the political science is very important part of any organization. Political science provides insight into power, authority, conflict within organization. It helps explain the influence of leadership, power dynamics, politics and negotiation in organizational settings. Key concept which we are using in organizational behavior: power, authority, organizational politics, leadership style, conflict resolution, decision making. One of the important part I need to clarify this particular lecture: organizational politics. Politics in organization may be bad, may be good, and politics is everywhere. Now, good politics is something like that, want to accomplish the particular objectives of organization. That cases, if you do some kind of politics, it is not bad. But some cases, we are excluding some people doing some kind of politics, which is called as the bad politics. Bad politics, good politics, healthy politics, all these things are practiced in organization. Power is one of the main aspect of leadership. Without power, leadership is not possible. Leadership itself a power. That means if you have the bundle of authority, if you have huge cognition power, if you have the leadership style, then definitely you are very powerful. So these are all the things actually we borrowed from political science. So political science also one of the major contributor in the field of organizational behavior. Next slides, you can see the social psychology. Social psychology focus on how individual behaviors are influenced by social factors, including group dynamics, leadership, interpersonal relationship within the workplace. It helps OB understand social influence, team dynamics and attitudes. Social psychology is very important. That is one of the branch of psychology. Social psychology basically try to give some idea basically that what social structure we are in basically. How individuals are being influenced by social structure. How social structure correlate with leadership. So this is also important part, which is the main domain of nowadays organizational behavior, that is so-called advanced organizational behavior. Now, so many contribution of other area, one of the major area, philosophy. What exactly we know philosophy about it? Philosophy contributes to OB by providing ethical framework for decision making, leadership and organizational practices. It addresses questions about the morality of organizational practice and the ethical treatment of employees. It's very important part of any organizations. Incivility. If you understand the organizational philosophy, you may not be incivil. You may not ostracize somebody. You may not behave rudely to others. So philosophy actually defines the ethical practices of certain organizations. Nowadays, if you talk about the business ethics and other things, all are originated from philosophy of certain branch. So today leadership and today motivational practices, today interpersonal relationship, leader-member relationship, job person fit, all these things are based on ethical context. So which is the real branch of philosophy. Philosophy as a result is one of the major contributor to organizational behavior. Now next we can see that management, of course, is very important part of any organization. Decision making strategy, leadership framework, motivational theories and enhance employee performance and organizational effectiveness. It plays a key role in conflict resolution, change management and establishing organizational structure that improve coordination and efficiency. It helps align organizational goals with employee needs, fostering a positive work environment and ensuring long-term success. Now, key concept we have used basically in organizational behavior, leadership, decision making, teamwork and communications. Now see, few things we need to understand here why management is important basically in organizational behavior. Whatever behavior in organization basically, ultimate goal is effectiveness. Why you can measure the effectiveness? By considering the lot of issues. So many theories are there measuring organizational effectiveness. I just quote one of the theory which is called as the stakeholder approach. In stakeholder approach says that if all of stakeholders of certain organizations are happy, that means your organization is effective organization, very successful organization. So from where we have borrowed this concept? It is from management. Because in management everywhere there is the issues of efficiency and effectiveness, productivity. So unless we understand effectiveness in certain organization, it's not possible to measure the organizational behavior. Now one more important things, conflict resolution, I want to clarify, it's one of the major area which we have borrowed from management. Conflict is there, it's very common, it's not unnatural, it's most welcome. If there is no conflict, there is no any kind of change. And you may not have any kind of feedback. We must have open forum, whereas people can raise their voice, raise their issues, there is so-called conflict. Where is you can conflict? And what you can manage it? And what are the tactics of resolution of conflict? It is all these things are the purview of organizational behavior, that it has been borrowed from management. Management thus one of the major contributor of organizational behavior. Now next few questions are there basically. I can see basically which we need to study basically when we go through the entire slides. What makes organizational behavior an interdisciplinary field and which discipline contribute to it? Students, try to see the all of contents of the slides. Answer is there. Which makes organizational behavior an interdisciplinary field? Why it is interdisciplinary field? And which area contributes more? It is very important. You can say that management is contributing more. You can say that what are the discipline contribute more? What are the discipline contributes to shape the organizational behavior? So it's not the things of degree of variation. All are equally contributed. Identify the key concept of organizational behavior and from where it has been borrowed. Second questions, what are the key concepts of anthropology and sociology that contribute to understanding organizational behavior? Anthropology and sociology both are interconnected basically. That's why both the contexts are shaped combinedly. Anthropology is basically deals the leadership. Anthropology basically deals the evolution of thoughts, nature of evolution of thoughts, that people mindset. Anthropology deals the human science. Anthropology deals exactly why human being in the real world, what role a person has to play. And social structure, sociology defines we are in the social structure, we are in the particular domain, in that particular domain, and we have every possible opportunities, and what we are performing, and what are the societal norms, what are the social values we need to follow. This thing you can write here. Third questions I have raised mention the key concept and contribution of political science in organizational behavior. Political science contribution already I have narrated. Could you imagine in any organization without healthy politics you can survive? Without diplomacy you can survive? Can you frame strategy without any kind of diplomacy? Without any kind of politics? Obviously no. Executives, managers has to play some kind of politics, which would be the healthy politics for accomplishment of objectives. Political economy is the major branch of study. And political economy defines economics, and economics define management. Then definitely organizational behavior is one of the part of the business. That has to be listed properly. Now see, management, philosophy and economics. If we club both the things, what we can learn? Management, philosophy and economics, if we club both the things, because ethical context nowadays is more important. Business organizations has to be ethical. Business organizations perform by following the ethical norms, which is defined by philosophy. Philosophy of particular region, philosophy of particular issues, philosophy of great men. These are all very important part to define particular context of organizational behavior. So these are all the sum of questions I have raised here, and some of books also I have referred basically, which you can follow, especially for your reference. Robbins, Judge and Bora 2009 Organizational Behavior by Pearson 18th edition. Neck, Harton and Moore 2015 Organizational Behavior, a critical thinking approach. Such publications, and I hope if you study all these things, definitely this interdisciplinary approach of organizational behavior, that will help you to understand real practice of organizational behavior. And definitely if you are the manager and if you are working in certain institutions, you are academic researcher, that will help you to manage, to understand this particular subject of interdisciplinary nature. Thank you.